Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Matt Davies. This time we're going to be having a little think about how stories give us meaning. If branding is the management of meaning, and a brand is the meaning that a consumer will attach to your business, your organization, your product, then the way that you manage meaning is going to be absolutely crucial. The way you tell your staff about why you exist and how you inspire them, to how you communicate out to the consumer, how you tell them about your product. All of those things are going to connect meaning to your organization. You can see this clip a few times in this video. What we want is not more stuff. What we want is meaning. That's what consumers want. How do you create meaning? How do we create meaning as human beings? This question of the creation of meaning has been the burden of my kind of 17-year career. Like, how do you best create meaning in a consumer's mind? And the answer is perhaps the most simplest, which is stories. Stories create meaning. You think about it. As you grew up, you were told stories, cultural stories. You read fairy tales. Your mum and dad told you stories. And that created meaning and it created an identity in your mind. And you began, most probably, even subconsciously, to start telling yourself a story about yourself. And wherever you are in your life right now, if it is in accordance with that self-image, that self-story that you've told yourself, you'll be probably quite happy, quite satisfied. But if there's a part of your life that doesn't sort of fit with the story, that's going to give you dissatisfaction. Because the story gives you meaning, an appreciation of why you exist, and it's something that, funnily enough, you create or your culture creates around you. Most people, when they go home after a hard day's work, what are they engaged in the Western world? In storytelling. They're watching films, they're watching videos, they're watching TV. We all respond well to stories because they help us, as humans, make sense of the world around us. And we've been telling stories since prehistory. You know, stories are really part of our human nature. So the question is, why do we tell stories? And I'd suggest it's probably because this is one of the ways that we learn. We obviously have facts and figures that we understand, but stories really help to give us that meaning. They help to give us that emotion behind the reason why we do things. And so stories are crucial. And if we, as business owners, as brand owners, as marketeers, want to create meaning for our organizations, then we need to learn the principles of storytelling. We need to understand how to create meaning in the minds of our customers and even our staff so that we get traction as we go forward. If we can connect and communicate on a deep emotional level, on a human basis, then what that means is that we're going to cut through and get to the heart of our consumers. And if they believe in what we believe, and if they can understand what we're about, then they're more likely to buy from us than from our competitors. What we want is not more stuff, it's meaning. Let me give you a classic example of this. You've got two handbags. One from Tesco, £20. One from Gucci, £2,000. Which one do you choose? They both do exactly the same, probably made in the same factory in India. The only difference is that one has the Gucci logo stamped on the side of it. Which one are you going to choose? The answer will come down to who you are as a person and what you believe about the story that you're living. Do you believe you're a glamorous young lady and you deserve the very, very best? Or do you believe that, hey, it's just a product and I'll make do, because they both do the same thing? Do you value the story that Gucci has been putting out since you were a kid, every billboard that you passed, every Vogue magazine that you opened, of a glamorous lifestyle, and that they are the brand for the glamorous? Or do you not really care about that and just believe you're the everyday person and Tesco will just be fine, thank you very much? The story that Gucci puts out creates the value that people then attach to it as a brand, and then the meaning that they get from owning one of those products. It actually says something about them, because as they then walk down the road, other people look at them and think, wow, what a glamorous person, they own a Gucci handbag. That's the power of story, the power of narrative. It adds real value. And of course, that's an extreme example, but it's the same in any industry up and down the country. We think that we buy because of facts and figures. The truth is we buy because of emotion, and emotion is created buy great stories. What we want is not more stuff, it's meaning. I'll give you another example. Baked beans. So you go to the supermarket, you stood there's a wall of baked beans. Which baked bean do you choose? Like you've got all these tins. The differences are really only on the label. You know, a lot of baked beans are made in the same factories. So the taste is going to be exactly the same. The difference is the label. Ooh, how do I do that? So you look at the labels. One is from Heinz. Costs about 75p. Heinz baked beans. Now in your head, you've already had Heinz since you were a kid. You understand the brand name. You understand it's like an old brand. It's got a lot of heritage behind it. It has a story behind it. You know, you think, it's got a bit of there's some meaning behind there. And then you look at another one, and it's just by Tesco, like 30p or something. Tesco again. Sorry, old Tesco, but it's an example. Other brands are available. So again, same product, does the same thing, made in the same factory, difference story, difference brand. What we want is not more stuff, it's meaning. One final example, you'll love this one. Water. I could go to my tap, obviously I pay water rates, but I could basically fill up a bottle and drink my water. And it's perfectly nice, lovely to drink, you know, it's great. I can go into a shop and there's racks of bottles of water up on the shelf, and people buy water all the time. And they'll spend £1 or £2 on a bottle of water. Now, that makes no logical sense in that they could get that water for pretty much no additional expenditure to themselves. But the reason they buy Evian, for example, is because of the story behind it. There's meaning behind this. And it also says something about somebody if they're buying that water, like, hey, I just don't want cheap tap water. I am somebody. I stand for life and vitality. I am a healthy person. And so the meaning and the stories, they intertwine with the consumer's meaning and stories. And they're willing, as a consumer, to depart with additional cash to obtain a part in that story. And as consumers, what we want is not more stuff, it's meaning. So the question is, as we think about brands and we think about managing meaning, is if we are going to create value for our customers above and beyond the actual tangible asset that we're providing, like the product, then what is that? And what does that look like? And why should somebody buy our product as opposed to going somewhere else for it? These are the interesting questions. These are the questions which branding should start to focus on. And they're crucial for the success of any business, service or organisation to survive. I hope you found that really interesting, and continue to watch some of my videos as we dig deeper into some of these questions and seek to find some answers.